Hi everybody, this is Bonnie with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and I'm back with my friend Laura from Jewel Designs, and she has some new items that I'm dying for you to see. And I'm just going to turn it over to her and let her introduce you to her buttons and different styles, different ways of styling scarves. And if you've not seen the first video, please check in the video description that we made a couple years ago, and she goes into depth about other ways to style your beautiful scarves. So I'm going to turn it over to Laura.
Great. Hiya. So I'm so delighted to be visiting with Bonnie again and to see her new work and have the opportunity to introduce you to these products. And what I have here on these shawls right now is my mostest newest pieces. So these are called stud buttons, and I want to show you how they work. So they're two components, the front and the backing. And the front, as you can see, has a shaft with a bead on the back of it. And this skinny part of the shaft is where your crochet will be. So this will be on the front of your crochet will be in here, this bead will be showing on the back of your crochet, and the way to keep it secure on the piece is the backing snaps on. So what you see on the back of your crocheted piece is this leather disc with the bead. So it looks like a button, but it's much simpler, faster, and easier to use than a button. You can move it around, you can remove it, you can wear it on sweaters. It's super, super simple to use, and it inspires creativity because of that ease of use. Because it's so easy to move it around and put it wherever you need it, you can really begin to develop unique stylings with these components. So what I brought over to show Bonnie today was my newest design in this genre of stud button components. And it's called Modern Ornate. And Modern Ornate is, I'll just show you kind of a little bit of a close-up of what makes this Modern Ornate so exciting. It has a kind of spirally, filigree-ish design, and it's got black accents, so we blackened the pieces and then finished the metal. And I want you to just get a sense of what that looks like. Look at that gorgeous filigree kind of scroll work. And what I'm showing you here is we've got two finishes going on. We've got satin here. You see it's reflective, but it's not shiny. And we've got glossy, which is very shiny. So they reflect the light in different ways. And what I'm in the process of figuring out is, what do you folks like better? Do you like the satin finish better, or do you like the glossy better? So leave us a comment so that I can get a really good sense of what you like better and why, because this is going to factor into what I end up producing. I'm not going to bring out both. I'm going to bring out the one that you love the most, but I'm actually offering something really special right now for the next week or so, and Bonnie will let you know for sure. I'm taking pre-orders for both. So if you super, super love one and you know you want it, go ahead and pre-order it now, because it may not be the one I bring out. It may be the one that a lot of people love, but not the most people love. But right now you get the opportunity to get what you want no matter what the final vote count is. I will fill all of those orders no matter what. The voting is helping us figure out what are we going to have in the catalog going forward. But all of those orders that are placed in the voting time frame will be filled as they were placed. And that allows me to give you exactly what you want, and at the same time figure out what most people are interested in purchasing. So okay. Bonnie, tell us about this.
Okay, this is my Rahabs scarf. This is on my channel. You can check the video description below, and I'll have the links for all of these scarves. So Laura's going to show us how to style more of a traditional scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have at it, my friend.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is, you know, we all love to kind of wrap the scarf around so that you get kind of a cowl-like feel here for warmth. So I thought, well, you know, the challenge with that is how do you really keep it stable on the body so it's not requiring constant management. So I thought I would just wrap this around, have that be kind of my problem I'm going to solve. Wrap this around and then figure out with those stud button components I just showed you, what do we have to do to make sure that we stabilize this on the body so it stays put. So I stuck the one end through because I know I want to attach the two ends together so that that part is stable, and I have an idea for how I can manage this too. So I'm just gonna, I've got a little stable of closures here. What I'm gonna work with for this piece is a set called Ancient Geometry, and these are so gorgeous. I'm gonna show them to you up close. Each design is a little different, and it's basically kind of a low relief. So the parts that look black, it's because they're little recessed areas, and they're just gorgeous. And I think they're going to work so beautifully with this particular design. And so the first thing I'm going to do here is secure that edge of the two ends connecting together. I want to make sure that I establish that relationship right away, so that's not going to migrate or move around. And you see how easy it is to work with these? I just stick them through the material and put the backing on, and then it's secure. So part of the challenge is to analyze where will this fail if I don't secure it. And it's going to fail at the shoulders because we move around so much. If I don't establish a connection between the layers at the shoulders, it will come apart. So I'm going to do that now. So this is the top layer, this is the bottom layer here, and I'm going to go through those layers where they're overlapping, where it looks nice, and secure. I'm going to put the backing on and fix it in place. So now I have one here. I'm going to connect the nape, because this is one part of it. Here's the other part. See, the bead just comes through, and I stick that backing on. It's
And
really
it doesn't
fast.
hurt, and it doesn't hurt the stitching either.
Nope.
It comes right through the holes, no problem.
Yep, just goes right through the holes. Slips in between the stitches. Now here I've got the 3 layers coming together. So I think I want to connect all 3 layers.
So you could connect this up and then just take it off.
Yep.
And then put it right back on and not
Yes.
have to style it again. Just take it off, set it down, and then
Yep.
just put it right back over your head on your way out the door.
Yes, you know, I think often when I establish a styling and I get it to that sweet spot where it fits me just right, it's like scaled to my body, that's exactly what I do.
That's what I've done with the Women's Wealth tie as well. Just style it and then leave it on and just flip it over my head and go.
So I've got one more component, might as well use it here. I think I could put it here, but I could also connect these layers up here. And I think,
For more warmth around the neck.
yeah, I think
If it's
that's
particularly
what I
cold
want to do.
and snowy.
You would snug it like that. Yep.
Yeah, beautiful.
So then you've got these points of kind of reflected light. Those black dots in the designs are interacting with the black dots in the slub of the yarn. This cabling that's going on in Bonnie's design is somehow speaking to the motifs in these stud buttons. So I think it just really ends up working the way it looks. And just so we can test whether this is a feasible feasible approach, I think I can get that on over my head. Let's just try it. Let's see if it really works.
Wow, it looks good.
It feels really good. It feels great. It feels super comfortable. I just want to, make sure it's spread out the way it is supposed to be. But yeah, it works. Not just on the mannequin, works on the body. I would not worry about this coming apart. It feels very secure. Feels really good. So I want to try something else with this scarf. What I want to do is start the styling sort of in the center, but I want to arrange the shawl asymmetrically so one end is longer than the other. So I'm going to start with it in the middle, meaning a center closure, and put the stud button components in as if they're buttons down the front, kind of cardigan-ish closure effect. That's how I want to start. But I'm going to cluster the components together, because what I'm wanting to try out here is rotating the piece a quarter turn or almost a quarter turn so that I bring these closures to the front of the shoulder. And that gives a little bit of a different look. It's a little bit poncho-y. In fact, I'm even going to really cluster them. I wasn't going to do it that tight, but I think that's kind of cool looking. It almost looks like jewelry. Like that. And then rotate it a quarter turn. And it's simple. It's simple, it's elegant. You could put that on with a beautiful suit, but it can also be casual. You could wear that to the farmer's market and it would look really great. And it leaves, it gives you range of motion, even though you've got a lot going on the one side. Your arm is free here. So we'll do our test again. Does it really work? And this is a scarf, but it feels sweatery or poncho-y. It kind of feels like a more garment-ish, which is neat. And I did do the closures quite far up, so I feel like this would be really warm. But one of the issues with the scarf, of course, is volume. When you do all that wrapping, sometimes you end up with a lot of volume here at the neck, and that's more than you want. This gives you that coverage and that feeling of being snugged without the volume, because the volume is cascading down. And having that asymmetrical connection adds a little interest. So I think this is also successful and easy to put on and off. And really, it would look pretty spectacular just like that too. Yep, I think that looks great. And that's with the mid-century modern stud buttons in the white brass. I have multiple finishes. I have white brass, I have black and white brass, I have bright yellow brass. Here's the bright yellow brass. If you can see that. Bright goldy color. And then I also have distressed brass, which is a very kind of sexy blackened, just a little hard to see, I guess. It's brass that has been totally blackened and then hand relieved, so you get a kind of surface visual texture that's really exciting. And each piece is done individually, so everyone is different. They all look really different.
All right, so this is the Adari scarf. Again, it's on my channel. And it is an asymmetrical scarf and features the braided cable, the Celtic weave, and some ribbing and some ridges. So go ahead and see. Laura's going to show us what she can do with this.
I'm going to style this in 2 ways.
Okay.
So we talked about doing, one of the ways that we often wear shawls or scarves is to have one side coming down and then throw the other over the shoulder. And that's kind of a vulnerable styling, because even if you secure it right here, this side wants to come down. So if you were to lean down or do something or turn, then you'd have this problem. And then you'd have to throw it back, and it would keep doing that. And this I call misbehavior. Crochet, knitwear, misbehavior. The shawl, misbehavior. But there is a way to achieve this look without having a misbehavior problem. And that is to have the end that's going over the shoulder be on the underside. And that means that this tail that's coming down the back, that's here, is held in place by friction. And then you just secure the top. And so we can do that with the stud button components. I'm going to use the bright brass, the yellow brass, because I think it's going to stand up. It's going to stand out really well on this dark green color here. So I'm going to use all 3. These come in a set of 3. I'm going to use all 3 because that allows me to make sure that all of the whole area of the overlap is secured. And I'm going to put another one here at the shoulder. I'm going to put it a little forward of the shoulder, just because if you're carrying a bag, you don't want the stud to press into you. And so that's a way to control the behavior of that whole area. So before I style it the next way, I want to just take it apart, because I want you to see how easy it is to not just style it, but to remove all of the elements. They just come apart so easily. The backings just peel off. I will often put my thumb on the bead and then pull from the side, and it just comes off. And so now what I want to do is style this in a completely different way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the whole piece upside down. I'm going to take the point, have that upside down, up at the top. I'm going to fold it down. So all of these cables, now that means you're going to see the front and the back of the fabric. But the front of the fabric is going to be right up around the face. And it's going to give a different kind of look to the piece. And you know, Bonnie, your crochet is so beautiful on the back.
So sweet.
I just think it, it looks gorgeous both ways.
That's probably why some of it's been photographed with the wrong side showing.
Indeed, indeed.
That happens a lot too.
So for this, I'm going to go ahead and use my distressed brass that I talked about earlier, the one where it's a yellow brass that has been blackened and then hand relieved. So it gives it kind of a rustic look, but it's very textured looking, very interesting surface. And so what I'm doing here again is I'm going to control the whole overlap. So this edge of the overlap needs to be controlled or this will go astray. The underside of the dark green comes all the way to here, so I know I need to control that too. Or it will migrate on the body like this, which we don't want. We want it to stay really secure so that it's just comfortable and not taking up brain space, requiring manipulation multiple times over the course of the day. That's misbehavior. So going to control it before it happens. And then I think I want to just control the relationship of these two ends. I want to make sure that they just stay like that. So by securing in these three places, this styling will stay totally secure on the body. I wanted to see what would happen if I rotated it a quarter turn like we did with the other piece, the scarf, and I think it looks knockout. It looks really different than that whole edge, you know, the ends that were in the front are now coming down the side, and then this collar just kind of stands up and becomes the show. And so all of that cabling that is Bonnie's brilliance, it's right there in the front, kind of pointing to the face, framing the face, which is just so beautiful. And then it's like a deep kind of cabley collar in the back. Should we do the test? Should we see if it works on the body?
Go for it.
Okay, let's see. So you can see it's not falling apart. It's staying stable.
Ooh, okay.
It feels really good. Feels super comfortable. So that's what it looks like straight on. And now I'm going to rotate it a quarter turn like I just did on the mannequin. We'll see if that really feels as good as it looked on the mannequin. And it really feels good. I can't really see it, so I'm just going by feel, like how does it feel good? Which really should be the more fundamental test than does it look good in the mirror. It should always be like, how do I feel? Does this feel good? And it feels good. It feels really good. And it's staying in place. So I would say that this works.
That works.
Yeah, it works.
And it's different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. We make things and we have conventional ways of styling them. But then if you change that and you start to tweak how you wear it on the body, it can become a whole new piece. And that process of styling becomes a creative opportunity that you can exploit on a daily basis. So even when you don't have something that you're actively working on, you don't have yarn and crochet hook in your bag waiting for you to work on it, you can put your creativity to work styling the pieces that you've already made. And that's exciting.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Laura, for coming by and showing me these beautiful buttons. And I've learned something. I hope you did too. And Laura also reminded me just now that if you want to vote on which ones that you liked, if you like the satin finish or the
glossy of the Modern Ornate new stud buttons, you can pre-order both for the next week or so, and that's like casting a vote for the one you want, and it ensures that you get the finish you want no matter which one I end up bringing out in the end, because all orders placed for both before the voting time frame closes all of those orders will be filled. Even so, say if you order glossy but I bring out satin, you still get glossy.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you all next time. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.